was very interesting. Care to explain for people who aren't?
Well, look, Obama got the Nobel Peace Prize because the committee thought he was so nice and
Yes.
so lovely that he'd do great things as president. So he got a Nobel Peace Prize for what they thought he might do. This president is actually doing stuff. And okay, I know in the last 48 hours, Rocket Man, Kim, is saying, oh, I might not go if you demand total denuclearization. But look, already, but what the president's achieved by talking tough, by not appeasing bad people, what he's also achieved by persuading China that they absolutely have to put proper sanctions on North Korea.
Right.
Already, we've had a summit between North Korea and South Korea. There's going to be a meeting. The Singapore meeting will happen. So I think the president is making stuff happen. And if anyone deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, it's him. And so after the summit, I'm going to go to the European Parliament and start a petition to ask European politicians to sign it. I mean, it could be quite a small signature list,
yes,
but I think it's it's the right thing to do.
And it puts them in a corner because talk about losing faith in your institutions if you compare this. Although, to be fair, President Barack Obama did have a beer summit with that police officer and that black guy. I remember that because they preferred Blue Moon. That was a big deal here in the United States, so baby steps. Let me ask you this, Mr. Farage. So people here keep talking. First off, how do you get along with Prime Minister Trudeau? Have you spent any time with him?
No, I haven't. He's a bit too trendy for me, I think.
Yeah, that's a word we can use. People have been just complaining about the Brexit. Obviously, people on the left, and there's been this back and forth. And I like that you've said, all right, put your money where your mouth is. You've talked about potentially, now it's a word I'm familiar with from Quebec, referendum, a second referendum on Brexit. Explain that because stateside, some people don't necessarily know.
Okay, let me be clear. I do not want a second referendum on Brexit. We've had the referendum. We won. We beat the establishment. It was never supposed to be the best of three. But what we have here is we have much of our political establishment who are doing everything they can to water down Brexit, to delay Brexit. And if they can, and I'm talking about the Tony Blairs of this world and people like that. And if they can, they will do anything within their power to force us to vote again. And all I'm saying to people is, if you voted Brexit and you're pleased with the result, don't be complacent, because these guys may ask us to do it again. And if we do face that, it's the worst case scenario, but if we do face that, next time we're going to crush them.
Yes, I want to clarify what I was saying. Best 3 out of 5 is my belief when it comes to this. Best 3 out of 5. It's like when you're playing wall ball as a kid. 3 out of 5. We'll go three sets. Best
of 7.
Huge week for President Donald Trump. Listen, I'm man enough to admit we talked about this week when we were incorrect. I thought the risk with President Trump is that obviously he's bombastic to a lot of people. He's a polarizing figure for good and for bad. And I thought, that could hurt Republicans in the long run. It seems to me, after these last couple of weeks, first off, the tax cut is wildly popular, which is very, very hard to do with any kind of an economic proposal, let alone actually a piece of legislation. Then you have Iran, North Korea, and now, of course, the embassy in Jerusalem. I wanted to get your take on this. I had actually listened to your radio show, and you talked about how this was a good thing. Actually, I think you said it was imperative for the United States Embassy to be in Jerusalem. But I was very confused because during the election, during the Brexit, the media said that you were, of course, racist, anti-Semitic, and all of the above. So clarify.
Of course. Yes. Oh, come on, please. I'm homophobic. Add to the list. Go on.
Naturally.
Nobody had ever called me anti-Semitic until I attacked George Soros and his unnecessary intervention in our world right across the West. But you attack Soros, they call you anti-Semitic.
Right.
Look, I tell you what's really important here. Trump stood before the American public and said, I will do this, this, and this. I will break the Iran nuclear deal. It's not working. I will not just say, as the Bushes did and Clinton did and Obama did, that I'll move the embassy to Jerusalem. I will actually do it.
Right.
And the really important thing about Trump is that what he is doing is he is genuinely restoring voters' faith in a democratic process. He's delivering what he said he'd do, and all the others on both sides of the pond make promises to get votes without even having the intention of putting those things into practice. So I admire him hugely for it. And as far as Jerusalem's concerned, well, that line's now moved. Any future negotiations have to work on the basis that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel.
Exactly. That's how it is. And if people don't like it, sorry, listen, we had elections. The guy delivered on his promise. By the way, he delivered, like you said, on Obama's promise. So just consider it.
Clinton's promise.
Just consider it a belated promise delivery from President Obama. Let's give him that one. Just like they're saying that, well, the tax break, they're going to hurt you 10 years down the line as it gets more popular. You might see some savings in your paycheck now, but 10 years down the line, let's just chalk this up for President Obama. 10 years down the line, Jerusalem embassy. Final question, Mr. Farage. Let me ask you this. We've talked about this quite a bit. Being raised in Canada, I have a lot of family in Canada. And you have two different points of view, right? That Donald Trump has hurt our standing abroad as far as how we're seen as Americans, respected. And then you have another point of view, mine, where we talk about Iran, Kim Jong-un, and actually seeing power through strength here. What is your opinion on that internationally? How do you think people view the United States right now?
Well, look, we had 8 years of Obama, who, as I say, was given the Nobel Peace Prize, was treated by the British media as the second coming of Jesus Christ, this wonderful man who'd arrived and who put down red lines in Syria, which once they were crossed, he didn't respond to. And America's status across the world shrank within the course of those 8 years. What has stunned people about Trump's presidency more than any other single thing is right from the moment he got off that aeroplane in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, his first overseas visit, is the way that he's carried and conducted himself on the world stage. Do you know, when he was in Beijing, walking around the capital of China, he looked so at ease and so confident, I thought he was about to put a bid in to buy the place. You know, that's comfortable.
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Well, when he's finished as president, there could be Trump, Beijing, you never know. But no, honestly, he's achieved amazing things on the world stage. And when he speaks, people listen. And I think they also know Trump does not appease people.
Yes.
If Trump says, you're a bully and I'm going to stand up to you, those bullies swallow hard and say, this is one president who perhaps means it. And as a result of all that, America's standing in the world is far greater than it was when he took office. Well done him.
I will absolutely agree with that. Sometimes he almost doubles down where someone's like, well, I'm really not a bully. And sometimes it's justifiable. Like, oh, he's not a bully. And Trump's like, no, he's a bully. I already decided. To be fair, the second coming of Christ with President Barack Obama, I hate to fact check here, but it was misleading with the verses and Revelations talking about him being raised in Indonesia, doing cocaine with his college professor. It's very, very easy to get that confused with the end times and make a false prediction. Mr. Nigel Farage, Nigel_Farage on Twitter. Thank you so much, sir. I know you're busy. Appreciate you taking the time, sir.
Thank you.
And we'll be back after this with Owen Benjamin, Lauren Southern.
We will make America great again.